The story begins in a world where using magic is a daily part of everyone's life. Deep inside the forest, the animals shake with fear with their mouths wide open, as they see a really strong boy named Mash, who is effortlessly bench pressing an insane amount of weight. He lives in a nearby hut with his grandfather, Dead. When Mash comes home, he breaks the door, unsure if he should push or pull it. This startles his grandfather, but Mash apologizes and promises to fix it. However, in his attempt to repair it, he only pushes it against the doorframe, shattering it into more pieces. It's then revealed that Mash is unique. He cannot use magic like others. Despite this, his grandfather has trained him to be physically strong for self-defense. But Mash is unaware of this, so he wonders why he is not taught any magic and is only told to train physically. His grandfather has to leave for some work, warning Mash not to enter the town while he's away. However, as soon as his grandfather departs, Mash wears a hooded cloak and rushes to the nearby town to try out the limited edition cream puffs from the local bakery. Upon reaching the town, Mash observes people using magic for tasks that can be easily done by hand. At the bakery, he eagerly orders cream puffs and pays with coins, which he accidentally bent in his excitement. Mash fixes the coins back with his hand and surprises the baker. As Mash enjoys his food, a strong gust of wind reveals his hidden face to the crowd. The people were surprised to see Mash's face, which had no marks on it. Meanwhile, Brad, a local police officer, reads a newspaper article about the Divine Visionary, which is awarded to the most successful student of the Magic Academy. His phone starts ringing, and he receives news of an unmarked boy roaming in the town. As Mash is walking down the street, he notices people staring at him, but he ignores them and starts eating his cream puff. He collides with a drunken officer named Terry and accidentally spills cream on Terry's uniform, which makes Terry upset. In an attempt to help, Mash unintentionally tears Terry's uniform while offering to wash it. Brad arrives at the scene, believing Mash matches the description in the report. Soon Mash's grandfather arrives there, and they both flee the scene. Brad creates a magical bird to track them. They return home, and his grandfather scolds him for disobeying orders. Mash apologizes but is punished with more physical training. Dead is thinking about what to do about the police when he notices Brad's bird spying on them. Brad and his team break into the house and confront Dead, inquiring about the boy's whereabouts. Mash is training in the woods and he's lifting weights like it's nothing, as he finishes his workout in 5 minutes. He returns home and just as he is about to open the door, he overhears their conversation where Brad tells him that the influence of magic has grown a lot, and they've to get rid of everyone who can't use magic. Despite Brad's threats, Grandfather doesn't give away Mash. The grandfather goes into a flashback, where we see him always treated like a failure, and it continued until he was an adult. He is about to end his life when he hears baby Mash crying, which makes him realize that Mash was abandoned because he didn't have a mark on him, so he decides to raise him as his own son. The scene then switches to the present, where Dead is screaming for Mash to run, and tells him to run away. Brad then begins to beat Dead, but just before he is finished, Mash breaks open the door, punching one of the police officers and knocking him out. Terry then rushes to Mash, but Mash rips off his uniform, yet again, and repeatedly slaps until he passes out. Mash explains that he didn't flee because his grandfather is his only family. Brad laughs at Mash and attacks him with magic. Mash effortlessly deflects the attack with one hand. Brad, surprised, launches a powerful spell strong enough to defeat a dragon, but Mash easily deflects it again. Mash uses various sports moves to toy with Brad's magic, humiliating him further. He then grabs his grandfather's wand and tries to attack Brad, who creates a protective barrier, believing Mash is about to use magic. Instead, Mash throws the wand at Brad, shattering his guard and leading him to fall to his knees. Mash threatens to harm Brad if he endangers his family again, but Brad proposes a deal. Mash must enroll at the Magic Academy and become a divine visionary for society to accept him, and in return, Brad will assist him in achieving this goal. He threatens them with being chased down for the rest of their lives if they don't accept his offer, so Mash agrees. Mash arrives at the exclusive Eastern Magic Academy, hiding his lack of magic ability with a fake mark on his face. He aims to pass the highly competitive entrance exam, which has less than a 3% success rate. A man named Lucci is seen observing all the candidates on the field. He hears a commotion and witnesses Mash lifting weights as if they were paper. He calms himself down and looks again to see Mash doing the invisible chair while reading a fitness book. He also sees two unusual fellows following Mash. Lucci appears before everyone, announcing that he will be the overseer of their exam. All the students are surprised because they recognize Lucci as an extremely talented mage. They're flattered, but Mash complains about Lucci's unwanted flashy entrance, which makes Lucci want to fail him. Lucci starts their first exam, instructing everyone to take their places while he casts magic to prepare the seats for everyone. Mash commented that he could have just escorted him to a room where everything had already been arranged. This makes Lucci even more despised. As the exam starts, the applicants examine their papers, but the questions start moving across the paper, making it hard to follow along. It shows that Lucci used magic to enchant the papers, thus they must eliminate the spell to pass the test. Brad and Burndead believe Mash is doomed, but he commands the moving words to stop and crushes his pen, causing the words to self-resolve out of fear. Lucci is surprised and angry as Mash completes the exam with ease. Mash proceeds to use his extraordinary strength to pass all the remaining exams, surprising everyone, while Lucci starts plotting something to eliminate him. Lucci creates an Earth-based maze filled with traps, giving the candidates 30 minutes to complete the task. Inside the maze, a girl named Lemon approaches Mash for help, and they begin walking together. However, Lemon continuously falls into traps and eventually reveals her true intentions. She uses magic to restrain Mash with cuffs to slow him down and tells him that she has a reason to stop him from reaching the goal. Mash, using his strength, easily breaks the cuffs and flees because he also has his own reasons to pass the test. As Mash leaves, Lemon encounters a massive creature that challenges her with riddles, threatening to attack her if she fails. Before the creature can harm Lemon, Mash stops the creature by punching it away. Lemon realizes her mistake and apologizes to Mash. With limited time remaining, they doubt they can reach the goal, but Mash has a different plan in mind. Meanwhile, Lucci thinks that he managed to stop Mash from winning. He then hears loud noises and sees that Mash broke all the walls to create a path, reaching the goal in a limited time. The other candidates accuse Mash of cheating, but Lemon reveals that it was Lucci's plan, as he told her that he would let her pass if she stopped Mash from winning. Lucci becomes furious and decides that he will fail both Mash and Lemon. The headmaster arrives shortly after and stops Lucci, informing him that the final interviews will now start and that he will be conducting the interviews. Mash is the first to enter the room, surrounded by the teachers and the headmaster. The headmaster asks him why he chose to rescue the girl, as he had little time left, and Mash responds that he felt the need to help her and would regret it if he had not. The headmaster is pleased with his response and inquires as to what Mash would do if he had to face someone more powerful than himself. The headmaster then summons a large magical creature to challenge Mash. He tells Mash that the doll placed at the bottom of the creature is capable of capturing the soul of a loved one, whom Mash believes to be his grandfather, and when the nail stabs the doll, the person will lose their soul forever. Mash quickly punches it, but to his surprise, there is no effect on it. Instead, his hands start bleeding. But then what he did next surprised everyone. Everyone was shocked when Mash stopped the nail, even though it got through his hands. He said that this creature might consume a large amount of magic and he couldn't hold it for long, so it was a battle of endurance for both of them. Recognizing Mash's ability to protect the weak and challenge the strong, the headmaster withdraws the magic and welcomes Mash to the magic school. Then we see Mash in a classroom, where they're learning lock-opening magic. The teacher gives them an example, but Mash just uses his brute force to smash the lock open, which upsets the teacher. As Mash is getting into trouble in class, we also see another kid named Finn next to him. He thinks Mash is a bit of a troublemaker and decides to stay away from him. After class, Finn heads to his dorm, hoping Mash won't be his roommate. However, he finds his room without a door, with Mash holding it. Finn realizes they will indeed be roommates. They start getting to know each other and Finn thinks Mash is a normal guy until he introduces him to his muscles, which makes him take back his words. The next day, Mash asks Finn if he can borrow his broom, as he has accidentally mistaken a large stick for the real thing. Finn is shocked, thinking how someone can mistake that stick for a broom. Finn helps Mash by giving him his broom. Then they are seen in the field, where they are taught broom flying. Everyone is trying to pick up the broom from the ground using magic. On the other hand, Mash, who has no magic, fails to lift it. A cheeky side character then mocks Mash, saying he is slowing the class down. So Mash stomps his foot on the ground so hard that it lifts the broom to his hand. The side character finds it suspicious and accuses Mash of cheating and not using magic. Just when things seem to be settling down, the teacher announces a broom race to see who's the fastest. The side character challenges Mash to a race with a peculiar condition. Loser follows the winner until graduation. The race begins, and as soon as the teacher says go, Mash performs a jaw-dropping move as he is already standing at the finish line. Nobody knows what happened except for Finn. The moment the teacher starts the race, Mash throws his broom towards the finish line, leaps after it, and mounts it mid-air, making it appear like he's riding it. The side character's brain goes into buffering mode, and he's still at the starting line when Mash wins the race and sets a new world record. The side character can't help but accuse Mash of cheating again, and this time, Mash feels so sorry for him that he drops the bet. A new student named Cavil steps up and stitches the side character's mouth shut and apologizes on his behalf, revealing that he's the boss of this talkative side character, making him a major side character. Cavil introduces himself but Mash ignores him, which makes Cavil annoyed. He decides to use magic to teach Mash a lesson but gets stopped by the teacher as they are still in class. Before leaving, Cavil tells Mash to meet him after class. When Mash returns to his room, Finn reveals that Cavil is the son of some high-ranking official at the Magic Bureau, so going against him might cause a lot of problems, and could even get him expelled. Cavil even has connections with the vice principal, so everyone is afraid of him. Mash begins to bake cream puffs and forgets about Cavil's appointment. The next day, he discovers his notebook in ruins, and Cavil appears, asking why he didn't show up. Mash nonchalantly responds, "Oh, I was busy with the cream puffs, you know, life's priorities." Cavil is now beyond annoyed. Cavil then mentions that he can help Mash become the divine visionary as he has connections with the vice principal, to which Mash immediately agrees and becomes his lapdog. From then on, Mash starts to follow all his orders. Mash is heading for his next class when he notices that his notebook is again damaged. Finn lends a helping hand, sharing his notebook with Mash. Mash is grateful to have such a great friend, not suspecting a thing. Plot twist alert. It's revealed that Cavil has been ordering Finn to sabotage Mash's books all along. Then, things take a dark turn when Cavil orders Finn to set Mash's clothes on fire, but Finn refuses, showing a bit of spine. This makes Cavil angry and he uses magic on Finn to beat him up. Mash arrives at the scene and sees Cavil beating up Finn, who is crying as he confesses all the bad things he did to Mash under Cavil's order. Mash, furious, approaches Cavil and smashes his face on the ground, knocking him out. Finn tells Mash he might get expelled and Mash realizes that he might be in trouble. The vice principal arrives there and witnesses everything. He then threatens Mash and Finn that they will be expelled and starts badmouthing him as they are of low status. Mash approaches him and lands a knee on his face, shocking everyone. He then digs a hole and slams the vice principal in there. The vice principal warns Mash that he won't get away with this. Mash, displaying a newfound interest in gardening, threatens to bury him alive. Mash is then summoned to the headmaster, who tells him that a notice came from the Magic Bureau to have Mash expelled for his actions. In this world, the Magic Bureau has the highest legal authority. But the headmaster, being a Chad, burns the notice like he doesn't care and says that people like Mash who risk their lives for others are very few, and the elites are abusing their powers to do whatever they want. He believes that the world needs more people like him and even encourages Mash to become a divine visionary. Mash tells him how he wants to become one, and the headmaster tells him how to do it. He keeps it simple and tells him all he has to do is get good grades and get as many coins as he can. He tells Mash that he will handle the bureau and the vice principal, and Mash leaves. The next day, Tom, the duello captain, asks him to play in their dorms match, which is a lot similar to Quidditch in Harry Potter. Mash tells Tom he can't fly a broom, and Tom doesn't really believe him and makes him join the team. During the game, the other team gets the ball, and Mash is stuck on the ground. People think he's not trying, so they start throwing stuff at him as his team is getting dominated. Tom goes up to him and explains what the rules are. He has to throw the ball through the opponent's ring to get points, and he is not allowed to use magic because it's all about using the broom. As Tom is about to return to the game, the enemy captain intentionally bumps into him, making him crash into the ground. Mash checks him out, and it looks like Tom has broken some bones. He asks the enemy captain what kind of sportsmanship he has, but the enemy captain doesn't care. He reveals that he only cares about winning the game. Tom knew that their team was about to lose as they were 50 points behind. But Mash was pissed and decided to step up. Mash grabs his broom and jumps into the air, making people shocked as he keeps himself levitating by rapidly kicking the air. He grabs the ball, and the enemy team starts approaching him. Mash unleashes his superhuman strength and throws the ball, which blows all of them away and gets a point. The crowd is surprised as they see the ball go back to Mash. It's then revealed that Mash's fingers have the physics-defying talent to curve the ball at impossible angles. He then continued to throw the ball, gaining more points. The score eventually reaches the max number of 999, making him the champions. The Academy sees the score as a new record and rewards a silver coin to Mash. Tom hugged him, thanking him for helping them to win. Later, a student named Lance reads a newspaper, where he hears about Mash's success. Lance recognizes Mash from his entrance exam and destroys his photo as he becomes Mash's next victim. In the class, Tom keeps bugging him to practice for their game, while Lemon wants to learn with him. but Mash doesn't want to spend time with him right now. That's when Lance shows up, and Lemon recognizes him as the one who ranked first on the entrance test. Lance wants to have some fun, so he pulls out a magic tool and opens it, which sucks Mash's friends into a tiny bottle. Lance told Mash to meet him in the woods if he wanted them back. He followed him into the woods where Lance revealed he was also collecting coins and showed his 2 silver coins. Mash's friends warned him not to fight Lance as he had double magic lines. Most people only have one magical line on their face, but there are some rare cases where a person has multiple magic lines, which means they have more magical power. Lance challenged Mash to a fight where they would both bet a silver coin. Mash agreed, and Lance took out his magic wand. Mash rushed at him trying to hit him with his fists, but Lance used a gravity spell and pushed him down. Mash tried to get up, but Lance told him that no human could withstand his magic. Mash punches a hole into the ground and pulls out giant roots, tearing the earth apart, making Lance lose his balance. Lance jumps back shocked by Mash's power as Mash dashes towards him. Lance uses his gravity magic to stop him, but this time Mash withstands it and throws a punch at him, which Lance manages to dodge by an inch. In the chaos, Lance drops his necklace, and Mash picks it up, revealing a photo of Lance's sister. Lance spills the beans about his sister complex and demands the necklace back. Lance then asks Mash what is the most important thing in the world. Mash answers cream puffs and Lance tells him that he's wrong and the only right answer is his sister, which makes Mash think he's a pervert. Lance threatens to throw his friends off a cliff. It was then revealed that Lance's sister is suffering from an illness that takes away her magic, and without magic, they will have to kill her because people without magic are not allowed to live in this world. That's why Lance wants to be a divine visionary and save his sister from being taken away by this corrupt system. Lance then drops the bottle and uses his gravity magic to accelerate the fall. He then turns to Mash and is shocked to see him warming up in his workout gear. He then uses his muscle-breathing first form and dashes to the rescue at a high speed to catch the bottle. He disappears in an instant. Lance struggles to find him and by the time he realizes, Mash is already back up with the bottle. He was shocked by Mash's speed and was confused about what type of magic he was using. But Mash doesn't want to fight anymore because he knows Lance isn't a bad guy, especially since the bottle Lance dropped was empty. Mash rushes to him and grabs the real bottle, freeing his friends. Lance, remembering his sister, gives up the fight and gives Mash his silver coin as he leaves. Mash realizes Lance is actually a good man, and his friends hug him and thank him for saving them. We find out that the academy is divided into 3 dorms, Adler, Orca, and Lang. Mash is from Adler dorm, which stands for courage. Orca stands for wisdom, and Lang stands for ambition. Each dorm has a rivalry with the other. We then see a student named Dot, walking through the hallways and beating up some students who tried to block his path. Meanwhile, at the Lang dorm, we see their leader talk about how weak the Adler dorm is. He then orders the rest of the members to take all their coins as they are not worthy of it. The following day, the Lang dorm and the Adler dorm are seen to have a joint class. Dot then makes his entrance, acting like he is the main character and sees Mash as a side character because of his appearance. Dot's dream shatters when Lemon arrives, asking Mash if she can tag along with him. Dot gets jealous of Mash and spits on his face. He starts complaining about how Mash is getting attention from her and it's because of guys like Mash that he can't get a girl for himself. He then declares that he will be getting rid of all the hot guys from the world after he becomes the divine visionary. But everyone ignores him, which makes him more annoyed. Then the professor shows up and tells them what their next class is all about. They have to get rid of all the forest scorpions and get the stone out of their heads. The regular stones are worth bronze coins, but the stronger ones have a square stone that's worth silver coins. So the professor sends them off and Mash plans to go for the silver coin. A student named Xilver, who had witnessed Mash's feats during the Dweller match, approached him and reminded him that he was nothing, provoking Mash to attack him with an iron pillar. The professor intervened, and Xilver claimed that they were just joking around. Mash was about to hit Xilver, but Lance stopped him and revealed that Xilver was actually 1 year older than him, but had been suspended for a year for being a troublemaker. Lance warned him to stay away from Xilver, but Mash was only worried about his cream puff not being crushed. They head into the forest but soon get separated from each other. Mash then runs into Dot, who freaks out after watching him, so he slaps him to calm him down. Dot is ready to fight Mash, but they then hear a girl screaming for help. A student was going to attack her but gets taken down with Dot's explosion magic. Dot begins to panic when the girl thanks him for rescuing her. He tries to remain calm, but when she grabs his hand, he begins to lose control. Somewhere in the forest, we see a beaten scorpion. It appears that Xilver has already retrieved the square stone, but it looks like he is planning something else. Dot is completely charmed by her and is about to ascend to heaven, but it is revealed that the girl is using magic on Dot, which makes anyone fall madly in love with her. She then tries her magic on Mash, but he stays unaffected. She was surprised that her magic was not working on him. She uses more energy to charm him by grabbing his hand. However, this does not have any effect on our Giga Chad, which makes her more upset. Dot asks the girl what's going on, and she tells him that Xilver is threatening her and making her do whatever he asks for. He swears he'll help her, but then suddenly they're attacked and Xilver shows up. He wants to fight him so he can help her, so he throws a bunch of fireballs and it all goes off in a huge explosion. Dot thinks he's won, but then we see Xilver protect himself with his iron magic. He then attacks Dot with his iron pillar, which ends up tossing away Mash's cream puff. Xilver keeps taunting them to fight him, while Mash is just shocked at losing his cream puff. Dot is surprised by the difference in their magic power. He thinks Mash will be of no use, so he has to save the girl alone by himself. Xilver taunts him by calling him weak. He then gives him a chance and tells him that he will leave the girl alone if he manages to take 5 hits from him. He even bets a silver coin according to Academy regulations. The girl warns him that he might get injured, but Dot decides to take his challenge thinking he can withstand it. But Xilver says that Mash is also involved in this and he will also have to take 5 hits. Dot, not wanting to involve Mash in his mess, claims that he will take Mash's hits too. Xilver attacks him with his iron magic and Dot falls to his knees after taking the first hit. Xilver continues to attack him and Dot takes all his attacks. He still stands after 9 hits, thinking of how the girl cried and suffered because of Xilver. Xilver uses a strong attack for his final blow which directly hits Dot and knocks him out. Xilver starts to laugh but Dot manages to stand up again. Dot orders Mash to take the girl and run away, but it turns out she's actually working for Xilver. She insults Dot and says that she hates people like him. Xilver starts laughing because he is so easy to fool, but his mouth is suddenly filled with a cream puff. Mash believes they've gone too far, so he joins the fight. He says he'll go for the 10-hit challenge and tells Xilver to go for it. Xilver thinks Mash is trying to act strong in front of a girl. He then brags about how he had earned 2 gold coins during his first year in the Magic Academy. He then attacks Mash with his spell and Mash gets hit a lot but finally catches Xilver's spell and crushes it with his hands. Mash was about to use his tricep spell but Xilver thought he was just playing around. Xilver continued using his magic, but this time Mash dodged them and started smashing them one by one. Mash lands a satisfying punch on Xilver's face, which sends him flying. He starts bleeding and wonders what just happened. He thinks his magic is strong even among the second-year students, so there is no way a first-year can beat him. So he goes for a counterattack but Mash smashes right through it, and lands another blow on him. Xilver is down on his knees, realizing that he can't win against him as he can't take any more hits. Mash suddenly moves back and takes a seat, reminding Xilver that he still has 8 more hits to take. Mash gets back up and asks Xilver if he is ready for the next wave. Xilver knows he will die if he takes any more hits. He's trying to figure out what to do next, and all of a sudden, a giant scorpion with a star-shaped stone on his head shows up. Xilver thought of using this opportunity to get away while it was busy with Mash, but Mash sent it flying with one shot, saying he didn't have time for it and it dropped its star-shaped stone. Xilver freaks out thinking Mash is a monster, but Mash lets him go as he feels bad for him. He then moves on to the girl, and she starts freaking out. She starts acting and crying, saying she was forced to help Xilver, and Mash tells her that it's all right. She thinks that guys are so easy to take advantage of, but Mash believes in equality and slams her on the ground. Dot thinks there is something wrong with him, and Mash goes to meet up with his friends. Lemon's worried about him after seeing him all beaten up, and Finn's really impressed with Mash because he beat up the Starston Scorpion, which was worth 2 silver coins. Lemon checks up on Dot and tells him that he should go to the nurse's office. He immediately falls in love with her, and he starts freaking out, while she thinks he's just weird. In the end, Dot apologizes to Mash for his involvement in the incident and expresses his gratitude for his assistance. Mash's pockets light up as his silver coins combine together to turn into 1 gold coin. Lance talks about how they've been targeted because he heard that the Lang dorm is after their coins. He also warns them to be on the lookout for the Magia Lupus, which is a group of elite Lang students. Mash said he didn't know that there were different dorms, and Finn reminded him of the sorting ceremony. Right after they got to the academy, the students were sorted using the unicorn skeleton. They grab onto the skeleton's horn and the skeleton reads their thoughts and puts them into the right dorm. But when Mash's turn came, the skeleton got confused. It tried to get a better look inside Mash's mind, but all it could see were cream puffs. Not able to come up with an answer, the skeleton decided that anyone who liked cream puffs had to be in the Adler dorm. Lance warns Mash that he needs to be extra careful with Magia Lupus, as he now has a gold coin and they might be after him. But despite his warning, Mash gets lost and ends up in the worst possible place, the Magia Lupus's meeting spot. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.